Good afternoon, friends. Let's proceed further with the book that I was talking about. As to it's a guidebook, which I said it is more or less like a Bible for me, and I myself have learned a lot. You will see through the contents. Like, I'm not going to read the entire book for you, though I have suggested and recommended that yes, you should read as a guidebook for you to understand what exactly is content analysis all about. So here, once you open the book, now I am not going to, as I said, read each and every page. What I'm interested is introducing to you the I should say the content of this particular book. Now have a look at the contents. Now this is what I say is basically the content analysis real way to understand and to not just because it's a book. However, it gives you the complete understanding of what exactly is content analysis all about. It's not just picking up the photograph, making a choice of your photographs and inserting them in a tool and then going further. There are a lot of things that you need to do it as a homework, and I thought, okay, let me proceed further and make you understand as to how, in what manner, and what are the various ways in which we can proceed further. So here you will see in this particular book, chapter 1 is defining the content analysis. So here you can see very quickly, and to give you a brief introduction about the content analysis, you will see it is usually bifurcated into two parts. One, I would tell you that you can say that you have got what you call it as the conceptual um, part of it, number one, which you can divide it and you can understand it, especially when you are into the textual analysis. We are basically coming up with the conceptual part of it. So that is one way to understand and perform the content analysis. In short, the second one that you will see in most of the times that we are talking about is in terms of the relational, I would say, the techniques that are available for us within the I'm so sorry out here, this takes while speaking and even talking about these things, really takes a toll for us. Now why I'm telling you is that sometimes you will see that yes, in the relational technique itself, there are quite a lot of things which are useful for us, and you are supposed to go ahead and make a note of it also side by side. So there you will find it out that yes, both the things together, that is relational as well as the conceptual part which are there in the content analysis itself, will be together forming what I call it as the content analysis altogether. Okay, and in R as well as Python, Orange, Julia, if you look at these programming languages, you are able to take care under the garb of textual analysis. Okay, and through that you can combine as many text as you can, or photographs also under the image analysis or photographic analysis you can carry forward. Now for example, before I can enter into the definitions and everything, remember that content analysis can be performed on photos. In short, I'm writing it out, or the better way to call them is photographs. Okay, number one. Number two, you can work upon what I call it as films, and here there are, if you come from the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, you will see that there is difference between films and movies. Now I'm not going to enter into those things, the jargons. Have a look at it, or maybe when I come for the conceptual part, maybe I can discuss. So photos, films, movies, then you have got videos are are available for you. Then sometimes what happens is that you are entering into the text part. You can perform into all these things, what we call it, okay, text, I can say. Now text can be from varieties. It can be from the newspapers, books, PDF format, the reports which are available on different websites, the videos you can pick up, the photographs, newspapers. Then here I would even include what I call it as the cartoon strips. Now I don't know how many of you are interested in cartoons. Like, I'm a big fan of cartoons, I would say. And so if you look into the cartoons also, you can definitely go ahead and perform a very good content analysis. So the categories are so many. However, I'm just focusing, looking at the kind of questions that were raised for the content analysis by some of you in the private mails to me directly. Now here, in that manner, you can see that content analysis has become, and I will show you the number of articles which are published from January, and right now we are in the month of April. How many articles or the research papers have been published over this thing itself. So you will understand why content analysis, what is the growing popularity. As you can see out here, it has been very nicely defined it to you of the content analysis. Number one, myths basically make you understand, sometimes you get a lot of confusion and you try to mix it up with something else. Or even if you are talking to certain people, they will say that no, we are not interested in content analysis because we don't trust. Now these are the various myths you will see they would be discussing with you in depth. The author has taken care of it. Similarly, a 6-part definition of the content analysis, which you can see content analysis as following the standards of the scientific method. Now those people who really say that no, content analysis, we are not interested, make them understand. Here we go, this standard, and this book is a Bible I have given to you. The message is that the unit of analysis, the unit of the data collection, or both. So can you see how through the definition itself, the author has introduced that it is not purely qualitative, it is also you are entering into the quantitative stuff, and one of the books will show you can begin with the qualitative and then how the entire thing. So here, the unit of analysis, you are talking about that, the unit of data collection you are talking about, or both. So sample size, population, all these things are also coming in for your discussions on content analysis. Now content analysis, that my answer comes to you. Content analysis as a quantitative technique, then content analysis as a summarizing, content analysis as applicable to all kind of context. Now the only question arises is that how you are going to perform or conduct your content analysis on the various things which are available. I'm talking about the data that is available. Now here I have not included sound. Sound is also one more thing that I see that a lot of research has been done over there. Then I find out even on maps. Now I think I better use this part of my space. Maps are also one more area where a lot of work in terms of qualitative analysis can be taken care of. Museums, you can do a lot of museums. If you are a student of architecture, especially if you are visiting some historical place, or you are a student of travel and tourism, you are traveling. Now you see, right from childhood, somehow I'm very fond of museums. The first thing that I do whenever I'm visiting a particular place is to hit upon the museums which are there in that particular. It can be a small one or a large one, it does not matter to me. And then I secondly sit with the local people, though they think that she's a big chatterbox and she's talking, but however, I would say that I'm not just a chatterbox, I'm plus I would say a researcher. So it is quite natural for me to when I'm talking to somebody, it is not just a conversation. They forget that I'm asking them too many questions. At that time, the thing comes in that my research research is also being taken care. So that is something that you will have to understand. And if you are visiting places like Lucknow or some holy places like Varanasi, Kurukshetra, Amritsar, Tirupati, or I would say Kanchipuram or Meenakshi temple, in that manner, even Kamakhya temple at Guwahati or Dwarkanath, I mean, choice is yours how you would like to and in what manner, or any kind of a hill station. Every hill station also has got, like for example, when I visited Srinagar, I saw this Pari Mahal and I was wondering why of all the names the place has got the name as Pari. So does that mean that there were a lot of paris over there, or would you say that yes, a beautiful woman has been nicknamed as Pari, or the queen, in memory of who, I should say, the entire mahal was designed and constructed? Was she resembling a Pari? No, you know, these kind of a questions keeps bubbling me up, and when I went over there, I understood what exactly is Pari Mahal and why it has got that historical importance and why it was so important for us. Now, from the perspective of the astrology, now you see that place has been given. So I was wondering whether that library, when I visited Srinagar, the library was closed. Otherwise they said that, ma'am, you could have laid your hands on the books which are available, and you know, kings and queens, they used to sit here, and you know, a lot of literature is available depending upon your choice of the astrological studies that we can do. So I was just wondering how Pari, astrology, kings and queens, and Kashmir and everything were related to each other, and especially the way the entire structure was made. Now, you know, these kind of things always. Now if you go to Bhul Bhulaiya of Lucknow, you know, Bhul Bhulaiya itself is a wonderful historical place. However, if you are looking over there and you try to understand, there are so many things that you can really, as a content analysis for that particular building, can be taken care of. So even if you go to Chittorgarh or Udaipur, Jaipur, you know, there are so many palaces or forts are there, and if you have got that keen eye of understanding, you can click the photograph and you can really talk. So you know, those things are also available for us. So you will see that the last is the sixth one. All message characteristics are available to content to be analyzed over there. So you know, these kind of things you need to understand and then proceed further. If you look at chapter 2, here they're telling you that it is going to be an integrative approach to the content analysis. Now, what is this integrated approach of the content analysis is something that you need to understand. For example, language of the scientific method. Whenever we are talking about scientific method, I'm making abbreviated form of it as scientific method. If you have done little bit of your school subjects and the way you were used to be, I should say, exploring or exposed to your lab work, you will see that first of all you used to write in your practical files what we call it as aim, and then you had methods that were available for you. Then you started up with objective over there. Then the process was completely given from you. Then the results were taken care from your side. Later on, you used to say whether the result and the objective were both identical or they matched up with each other or not, and then your conclusions, whatever they were. Now this is what we call it as a scientific method. If this is so, okay, the entire thing, then the question arises for the I would say the entire scientific method. If this is it so even for content analysis? My answer is yes. Now everybody thinks that it does not have any process, we cannot trust it, there's no reliability, there's no credibility, no validity. No, now you will see that in the initial times there were a lot of difficulty. However, the current research that is being taken place in the domain of content analysis, thematic analysis, image analysis, I find it to be so scientific that sometimes it is really a robust process or a very rigorous kind kind of a thing. And you need to be very observant. Number two, your observations should be taken care in a very detailed manner, and you should be very attentive participant also over there. So here you will see that yes, a lot of scientific method is being taken care of. Then you have got human coding versus the computer coding. You see, I wouldn't even say human coding, computer coding. I'm to even making up right now what I call it as the software coding also, which majority of us miss out because there are certain things which are involved into it, whether you are using what I call it as NVivo, or it can be Atlas TI, it can be MaxQDA, it can be Quarkos, or any other tool that is available for us. So you need to be bit careful while you are going ahead with human coding, what I call it as the computer coding, or even what we call it as the software coding. Okay, now how content analysis is done, that is also very important. That is your research design or research plan that you are going to be focused upon. That yes, and it is done through a, remember always, a flow chart is necessary. Now if that particular flow chart is not present, you pick up any paper, you will see that a particular flow chart is always available. If the flow chart is missed out, remember that it is not a content analysis. So I'm going to even widen my horizon, and I would say that it's not a qualitative research at all. Next one that you have got is approaches. Imagine, have you ever thought, did somebody tell you that yes, within the content analysis we have got what we call it as descriptive content analysis, inferential content analysis, psychometric content analysis, predictive content analysis, and now even I would proceed further and I would even come up and say model content analysis. This is the latest one in the market that we are talking about. So here you can develop your own models because you are at the level of the predictive. This book has been published, it's a bit old in that manner, however I cannot help it. So right now contemporary ones is that you have got even the models for the content analysis. So can you see the entire flow that we have got for the content analysis? So you will have to understand whether I'm just going to focus only on descriptive, only on inferential, only on psychometric, only on predictive, or models, or am I going to use and make it a big project, let's say, and all the approaches are going to be combined together. So this is where your integrated model of content analysis steps in, and here you will see that it's not just this one, there are other things also which are there. So maybe when I'm going to give you the hands-on experience using the softwares, that is NVivo or Atlas TI, I can go ahead and I can discuss with you what kind of integrated models we are talking about when it comes to the content analysis. And then comes up the one more area, why the use of integrated. So is there something which we call it as the non-integrated also? I would be discussing those things when I come up with yet another book, and then you will be checking out. And that is the reason why I thought that in my videos, rather than going chapter by chapter, I will just focus on the contents, give you a brief introduction, and when we go ahead with the hands-on experience, maybe I can explain to you all of them together. Developing data linkages. Now this is something which I see nobody takes it up very seriously. Chapter 3, message units and sampling. So your sampling is very much important. So they're going to talk about units, they are going to talk about defining the population, they're going to talk about the evaluation of archives, then they are going to talk about sampling. And remember that here they will be talking about probability or non-probability sampling. If you remember that in your chapter on research methodology, you under the heading of the sampling, you go ahead and you need to write at least 1000 words minimum, I'm talking about, and you have to explain to them why you have chosen it to be a non-probability one or why you have chosen it to be a probability kind of thing. So out of these two things, which one you have chosen, or or there was a combination of something else that you have taken care, you explain. The same goes out here also. So what is the sample size in content analysis? How you are going to describe it and understand it is something that we need to focus upon. Then the next one, as we are focusing on variables and predictions, okay, let me here they are going ahead and he has combined. When I say he, I mean to say the author. He is discussing about the variables and prediction. Though this book is not very good one when it comes to the identification and selection of the variables, there is another book wherein I would be giving you the introduction. That's a better one. However, try to understand how to identify the critical variables, then what are the universal variables, because the question arises, since if you are coming from the department of let's say management, at that time are you going to focus more on what we call it as logical positivism? At that time, generalization in order to reach to your objectivity that you are considering has been achieved for you or not is something that can be understood while you are taking care of your qualitative study. Part of it is through quali, okay, that most of the time we design and we are talking about, and part of it can be even achieved, not can be, it will be achieved through what I call it as the quanti studies also. So is this together I'm talking about the mixed approach? No, never ever come to this conclusion that yes, whenever I'm combining quanti and the qualitative, it's a sure indication for the mixed methods approach. We will see that one in my playlist on MMR. When I say MMR, it means mixed methods research, and you can understand. However, try to know that to go ahead with these things, then a lot of things have to be understood in terms of the universal variables, then using theory. So here also, as in quantitative, you start off with the theory, though there is theory building, theory construction, theory testing, and then you proceed further from here to what we call it as the building of the concept, or the vice versa. You can say concept building, then concept development, and comes the concept testing part of it. Once you have achieved these two things, then you go ahead and come up with the ROL, so that you are able to see various gaps, number one. Number two, you are also able to understand and see the relationships between the identified variables. Now this is very important. For example, if I'm talking about a school and let's say management system, university management system, which I call it as and if I say that this is my IDV, it has to and my DV is academic let's say performance, which I'm writing it as shortcut. Now this is my one of the relationship that I have identified through ROL between the IDV and let's say DV. If this is the one that is necessary for me to come up with, then there has to be ROL. How do you do it? You have to cite or refer to at least 5 references you need to give. At least I'm saying, not I'm not going to focus and say yes, this is the end of it. However, you need to establish this kind of a relationship has to be identified through your review of the literature. Same thing happens over here also, and that is the reason why they have said under the identifying of the critical that yes, you need to use the theory. So your subject, you should be exposed to a lot of theories, number one. Number two, of the past research and the variable collection, grounded or emergent process for the variable identification. Now you see, through these things, nobody, while you are doing ROL, nobody tells you that yes, this is the plan that you need to go ahead. We just simply say, okay, do ROL, then identify the gaps, the relationship between the variables and that's it, your ROL is done. No, that is not the correct approach towards the ROL. Whether you are in a quantitative studies or in quali, you need to go ahead and come up with these kind of things. Now before you can arrive these things also, there are prior steps which have to be adhered, and then you will have to carry forward. The third one is this one, that is how do you identify your variables, and the next one comes is attempting to find medium specific critical variables. Now what is your medium over there that you are really looking forward? Once you have established, I mean, you see, if we were, I wish there was a face-to-face or a classroom work session or a workshop wherein I could have invited majority of you, and through the hands-on experience, it's a real exercise which I usually do in my workshops when I'm presenting out to the gathering, and I make them understand. See, this is the experience is necessary. Your first hand experience gives you the details about this. Then you come up with what I call it as the hypotheses and the research questions. In fact, I would say research questions should come first, and then you should go ahead with the hypotheses out here. Okay, now we will see those things maybe in my collection of my review of literature videos. I should go ahead and I should add them. The first thing that you come up is with the conceptual definitions, and that's why, if you remember, I made it very clear that yes, when you are, like I'll be explaining to you that concept, whenever you are into the content analysis, always remember these two things are coming in. Number one, the conceptual relation understanding, and the second one is what I call it as the relational part of it. So these two together in a way are present for your content analysis. Not only the content, I would say even when you are performing ROL also, so you will understand how important these are. After your concepts are clear, then you enter into hypotheses. They are talking about hypotheses, and then they go ahead with the research question. However, for me, it is first is the research questions, then you can think about the theories and the concepts, then comes your hypotheses, because in between all these things there are also something which they forget, and that is the objectives. You see, so objectives also need to be understood very nicely, and we all know through quantitative studies that if objectives are there, depending upon the objectives, I can go ahead with the hypothesis. If there are in my objective, I do not see the presence of any hypotheses, then this particular steps it goes nullified for me. Okay, and the full reportage. Now you see, you need to report also, correct? Now how do you report? I would say either it's you are very good and you have a very good command over your English language, then you can go ahead and you can write it out. Otherwise, a little bit of training and you are able to get it. Now once you have completed with this one, we go ahead with what we call it as chapter 5. See, measurement and validity. So here nobody should have that doubt that yes, I am not going to do this one. This is something very important. Under the measurement, these things are coming in for you. Types of validity. Now someone who is interested, we will go into depth about these things also side by side. Apart from this, you have got what we call it as the validation process procedures in content analysis. And remember, it is not just reading this one only. There are other things also which are necessary. Ethics in content analysis, then operationalization is also there. Expanding terminology, processing, and then text analysis, which they call it as the kata. So textual analysis are really important for us to understand. So here you will see that what kind of textual analysis have to be performed. Then what is the importance of human coding? That also is something that you need to see, and there is a proper training that has to be understood as to how the code books are generated, then coder selection, coder training. It's not that whatever way you feel like you generate the codes, and from codes you are coming up with themes, and once the themes are there, you go away with the content, and once the content is there, then you say okay, my analysis is over. No, this is a big wrong thing that we are doing it. There is a proper kind of a training that has to be given for all these steps, and it takes a while for each one of us to understand how to create the code, how to, it is again a very tedious one. It's not like okay, I have got the software and I just go ahead, somebody told me okay, click on analyze, then you click on correlation, then you say that yes, bivariate, and then you are over with it. No, it is not like that. Here a proper understanding, even if you miss one of them, the intricacies of it, you are gone. The next one after that comes in is what we call it as the reliability, and you can see again reliability forms a very important step for us in content analysis. So we have got what we call it as the intercoder reliability. Then in what are the various issues, like you have got the biases over there in quantitative, here also certain issues are there, so you will have to understand and take it very clearly. Pilot and the final reliabilities, okay, here missing is what I call it as, can you take the help from the experts also or not within the pilot and the final reliabilities. So how do you come up with the reliability sample, then subsample size, how do you, can you see the intricacies which are there? And if I'm not wrong, this book was published in 2005, so from 2005 and right now it is 2021, so you can understand how well the things have changed. And that's why I said this is the first thing anybody who is quite serious. So here you come up with the bivariate relationships, multivariate relationship, what are the context that you are talking about when you are doing. So you see, it's not an easy one. So here they have given you the context, psychometric application, then they are talking about thematic content analysis, clinical application, open-ended and pictorial references, responses. Now you see, some of you who are working on the photographs, now at that time would you say that yes, there are open-ended kind of a thing, or have you you know, some of us who are very keen with the interviews, whether it is semi-structured or the structured part of it, how do you proceed further with these kind of a thing? Then you have got linguistic semantic networks, and I would say it is not just the semantic networks. Now thanks to the AI, you have got a lot of things which are available, so I call them as AI networks. You can explore more, and if time permits, then definitely I will go ahead and discuss about these things. Now similarly, you have got psychometrics and computer literary analysis, interaction, and these are some of the techniques that we have got. Apart from that, the list is very huge one, and depending upon that, I would be sharing some other things also which can be added. For example, you're talking about minority portrayals like movies, music, sentiment analysis, and now we know that sentiment analysis, there are so many ways in which you can do and you can take care of it. So I think this is the short introduction that I wanted to give you all for this particular book. And some of you who are interested should start reading right now, so that once I begin and explain to you about the things that are being taken care of content analysis, you would be able to understand it more. So this is how I'm going to end up my discussion for this particular book, giving you a short introduction about it. So let me come up with yet another one wherein maybe I can discuss something else so that you are aware of it. Till then, thank you and take care. Bye.